Now at 5, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Well, take a look at this video. Drivers blowing right through stop signs that are on school buses. In Shelton alone, more than 600 violations have been logged in just 2 weeks. Thank you for joining us here for the Fox 61 News at 5. I'm Tim Lammers. Well, now there's a new program that uses high-definition cameras and artificial intelligence. It's all designed to hold those drivers more accountable. Fox 61's Nick Bradshaw shows how it works.
Most of us already know that when you see the school bus sign out and the red lights flashing, that means to stop. However, not everyone does so. There's some new technology here in Shelton that's helping to catch those violators. Check this out. Drivers blowing past flashing lights and stop arms on school buses. And it's putting kids in danger. Shelton officials say the violations have been piling up recently.
In the city of Shelton alone, over the past 30 days when our warning period was running, we had over 600 possible violations captured off the bus. Of those, just over 550 were actually deemed to be worthy of a violation, according to the police.
Adam Schaefer with Bus Patrol spent years in school transportation. He says what's happening isn't unusual. But for a long time, bus drivers were expected to jot down plates while trying to keep children safe.
Almost impossible. You're managing an entire bus full of children. You're paying attention to what's on the road. You need to be focused on making sure that child is safe. You may need to let them know when it's safe to go. Looking at and writing down somebody's license plate made it that anybody who did this illegal passing were basically getting away with it with no consequence.
That meant drivers like this one who waves after blowing through a stop were rarely held accountable. Well, that was until now. For the last month, Shelton's program has issued warnings, but soon those warnings will become fines of at least $250.
All these 3 cameras taken in sync demonstrate all of the evidence that may be needed to determine if that car that was passing the bus did so illegally.
So here's how it works. They're using AI-powered cameras. If you go through the stop, it'll scan your license plate, transmit that data with Wi-Fi antennas. And within days, police will review the violation. If it's confirmed, you'll receive a ticket in the mail from the Shelton Police Department.
That same video is then sent to the police. They determine has a violation actually occurred based on Connecticut law and the local ordinance in the city.
And the revenue from the fines will go right back into the program.
Unacceptable, in an information-connected society, to continue to let this problem persist.
They've been testing out the technology for the last several weeks with no tickets issued. However, coming up on Monday, the 29th, if they catch you, it could be a $250 fine. We're in Shelton. Nick Bradshaw, Fox 61.
Nick, thank you. Well, in Hartford, police said they've arrested a teenager in a deadly crash that happened back in April. They said 18-year-old Michael Grady was driving the car that hit and killed 42-year-old Nicholas Thompson, while Thompson was riding a bicycle on Main Street. Police said Grady then drove away instead of stopping. Now, he was taken into custody yesterday. He's facing charges of reckless driving and evading responsibility involving death. Well, a man is fighting for his life in a hospital right now. Waterbury police said he crashed his ATV late last night. They said he was riding on Oronoke Road at around 11:15 when he lost control, although they didn't say why. But police said the ATV went off the road and hit a fire hydrant, and he was thrown into somebody's yard. We're still working to find out how he's doing tonight. Well, Hartford police said a girl fell from a second-floor window this morning, although we're told she is expected to be okay. Officials told us the 4-year-old fell on Magnolia Street around 9:40. It's still unclear how she fell, but officers are calling it an accident. They said she wasn't visibly hurt, but was taken to the hospital anyway. A New Haven's students' comments forced a school to lock down for a short time today. Police told us that Davis Street Magnet School went into lockdown around 10:20 this morning, a lockdown that lasted about an hour. We're told that all students and staff are safe. And at this point, police haven't said much about the student or what was said exactly. The school teaches grades pre-K through 8th grade. Of course, we'll update you once we learn more. Waterbury officials said water has been fully restored to the city after a water main on Huntington Avenue broke Tuesday afternoon. The mayor said, though, that being said, some houses and businesses may still notice some discolored water, so there is still a boil water advisory that's in place right now. The city collected some water samples this morning. Testing takes about 24 hours, so they're hoping to have the results back by tomorrow night. Crews flushed the system throughout the night, so they say they're expecting the water quality to continue to improve. As for the water main itself, it's not actually fixed. We're told water crews are waiting for a part. They'll still repair it this weekend. But the mayor said a temporary bypass is in place, and that's why people have access to water. He also applauded the superintendent of water and his team for their dedication to fixing the issue as quickly as possible. Now, if you're a fan of riding e-bikes around town, there are some new rules coming soon that you need to know about. The first of which defines what is and isn't considered an e-bike going forward. It's a little complicated here, but we'll do the best we can. Starting October 1st, the rule is that in order to be an e-bike, its motor has to be fewer than 750 watts, and its top speed can't be more than 28 miles an hour, or 20 if it's got a throttle. There's some other qualifications too. Again, so that's to be an e-bike. If your motorized bike doesn't meet those qualifications, then it's going to be classified as either a motorcycle, if it's over 3,700 watts, in which case you need a license, registration, and insurance. Or if it's under 3,700 watts, then it's going to be called a motor-driven cycle. And in that case, you only need a license.
For children especially, who might not have both the fine motor skills and cognitive abilities that they're still developing, that speed difference, which comes from the wattage, can make a huge difference.
Okay, now back to the e-bikes. Starting October 1st, all e-bike riders will have to wear a helmet regardless of their age. Officials said they've seen a 350% increase in bike-related accidents.
Folks are not here to put undue regulation on something that isn't important. This is important to keep the residents of Connecticut and the patients that we treat safe.
Also going forward, if you modify an e-bike to change its speed capabilities, you'll also need to label the e-bike showing those modifications. That's just part of a whole suite of new laws about this that go into effect October 1st. Well, it was raining cats and dogs for a lot of the day today, and for the first time in what feels like forever, gardeners could put down those watering buckets and hoses and let the weather itself do the work for you, Sam. Where do we go from here, though?
Well, we're watching one line of heavy showers and thunderstorms that are just moving past Scranton right now. Some lightning strikes redeveloping towards Allentown. So we're going to watch this line here. Let's time it all out for you. Right now, it looks like it's going to get into the Hartford area in western Connecticut between 8 and 9 o'clock here. Maybe a little bit early, maybe a little bit earlier than that. Right now, live Doppler shows that most of the steady heavy rain we had earlier is out. Still have some scattered showers ahead of it there. So overnight into tomorrow morning. Well, first off, the next couple of hours, watch what happens. You can see this batch coming in 7, 8, 9 o'clock. So coming up, I will detail what you can expect throughout your Friday. Look at this, 80. Here's a little tease for you. And we'll talk about the weekend forecast as well. Tim?
Sam Sampiri, thank you. Well, food service workers at Southern Connecticut State University voted to authorize a strike as they're still pushing for better wages. Fox 61's Joe Monte is in New Haven right now with more information on what's going on.
280 food service workers across 3 different Connecticut universities are negotiating with their employer Sodexo about fair wages. Now, they've been trying to get the company to come to the table since March, but they haven't had much luck. And now, with negotiations falling apart even further, a strike is looming. Yesterday, Sodexo employees in the Local 217 union at Southern Connecticut State University held a strike authorization vote. The vote passed with 98% of workers authorizing a strike. In a statement, Local 217 union treasurer Josh Stanley said, "The union remains ready to negotiate. We should not have to call a strike as we are simply looking to reach a fair contract in line with other post-COVID contracts." Workers are looking for what they call a real living wage that has been adjusted for the increased cost of living. Sodexo is a $9 billion company, and according to Local 217, the company is not meeting the union's demands. In prior weeks, we have seen workers rally on campuses at other Connecticut universities, including Central Connecticut State University. Workers there sent the university 1,700 letters asking for their support and a fair contract. Instead, according to Local 217, CCSU has deployed strike-breaking tactics, which include the use of replacement workers. Local 217 has the support of Connecticut officials, including Governor Ned Lamont. Central Connecticut State University does have a plan to vote on a strike next week. We're going to monitor that situation. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we get it. At Southern Connecticut State University, Joe Monti, Fox 61.
Also, a spokesperson for the Connecticut State Colleges and Universities system said they're not involved in the collective bargaining process, and they're urging Sodexo to reach a fair and timely agreement with Unite here. Now, CSCU also said, quote, our students, especially those living on campus, must have uninterrupted access to reliable and affordable meals. We urge Sodexo to finalize an agreement without delay, ensuring stability for our food service workers and peace of mind for our students. Well, if you're living in Hartford or just visiting, there's a good chance you'll come across some sculptures, murals, and other artistry that make up the public art scene downtown. Hartford's art culture has inspired a local nonprofit to create a way to learn about the history of each piece right from your phone. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson shows us what this new app is all about.
Have you ever come across a mural on the side of a building or noticed a sculpture downtown and wondered who created it and why? Well, now you can find all of that information on your phone with the new Hartford Art Tour app.
Hartford has a long history of art of all kinds, whether it's literature, monuments that tell the story of our history, to the newest outburst cropping of murals. It really is rooted in who we are, how we tell the story of the city.
Art is a major part of the framework of Hartford. Tanisha Dugan with the Hartford Office of Arts and Culture says there has been several attempts to bring the history of Hartford art to the forefront.
Not a lot of people understand how long the history of art is. We've got people like Alden Gordon and Public Art, CT.org, and the Greater Hartford Arts Council, who have been doing amazing work to try and tell folks what's happening. But if you're new to the city, you may not know to go to these places that have been doing such long work.
In partnership with the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, they look to create an easily accessible way for people to learn about the city's art while just passing through. That's when the idea of a mobile app that allows for a self-guided tour of diverse art culture came to be.
What we think will be a tourist attraction, a way to sort of bring more people into the city to experience our art in a new way.
The app allows you to find art in the city, and while you're looking at it in person, you can listen to sound, artist statements, and music related to the piece. And the app rewards those who find harder to spot attractions too.
You know, we've started this point system. I think it's, how easy is it to get to something? Do you have to be a little curious and imaginative to go find something? Scavenger hunt, a way to sort of collect some tokens around the city.
It's a unique way to connect people with the city, and Duggan hopes it also brings us together in ways only art can.
For us, it's about bringing together all the disciplines of art and asking people to come and enjoy it in person. We've had a lot of time over screens with each other, but the best way to grow and to know each other is together.
Dugan says this is only the beginning for the app, and they're already looking at ways to collaborate with local businesses that are near some of these featured artworks. If you're looking to get started on your very own multimedia art tour, we'll have information on how you can do that on fox61.com. In Hartford, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
Jamel, thank you. Coming up, we're going to take you live to the Durham Fair as the festivities have just begun. Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez is there now, so she'll join us in the next few minutes to show us more.
An Emmy-winning director is bringing a little Hollywood to Hartford. I'm Raven Blue. Coming up, I'll tell you about the director, the film, and why cameras are rolling in Connecticut.
Now, Fox 61 Weather Impact with meteorologist Sam Sampieri.
Well, as Tim mentioned a few minutes ago, we certainly don't have to worry about any drought conditions or dry conditions for your gardens. It'll be great right up till we probably get a first frost next month. A couple of light showers, a little moderate shower moving up towards western Hartford County right now, moving up towards Heartland. But this is the line I'm watching very carefully. This right here is a couple of embedded thunder storms and lightning strikes in here. And this line will be here, let's say around 7 o'clock or so, 7 to 8, and then crossing through the state during the evening hours. So rain and storms this evening. We still have one more that line in the next few hours, and then we're drying for Friday. Summery feel for Friday and at least the first part of the weekend. Now, warm front now has moved up. There was actually a couple of weak tornado warnings just to our west, up through upstate New York, but that did not materialize. The warm front's through, so it's very steamy out there. But this cold front is going to move through, and then this will be our weather next week. Strong cold front coming in to give us that fall feel just in time for October. So timing everything out, there are a couple of scattered showers around, as I just showed you. The model has a little bit more than that, but regardless, don't take this verbatim. You can expect a couple of showers in the next couple of hours, and then that line comes in, and here it is at 7 o'clock, touching western Connecticut in Litchfield County, and then here it is at 8 o'clock, starting to go through the Hartford area, 9, 10 o'clock. So we could get some gusty winds, heavy downpour, and maybe a couple of lightning strikes with an embedded thunderstorm during the evening hours. Otherwise, we're going to clear up by tomorrow morning. The bus stop will be damp and wet. Temperatures will be in the upper 50s to lower 60s. We'll dry out, a nice northwest wind, west wind. So the air mass is going to be warm behind this front. Temperature 75 to as high as 80 or so in the Connecticut River Valley. And then during the day on Saturday, notice in the morning we're fine, and then we increase the clouds a little bit in the afternoon, mixing with some sun, highs in the 70s. And then what we're going to be watching for Sunday morning, late Saturday night into Sunday morning, is a band of rain, a little storm system off to our south. May graze us in parts of southern Connecticut. Northern Connecticut may stay dry, and we could even see some breaks of sun. So not the best, brightest weekend. Saturday will be your pick of the weekend, and then we'll clear out. How much rainfall, additional rainfall than we already received? A half inch to as high as an inch or a little bit more. We're in a strong, heavy shower thunderstorm. Meanwhile, we're going to be watching Humberto, a couple of systems coming up next week, and it looks like it's going to come up and go right on out to sea. So again, we'll be tracking that. Fox 61 7-day forecast shows you, yeah, we're summery, got a couple of showers over the weekend, and then look at next Wednesday and Thursday, Tim, highs only in the 60s. Back to you.
In your Fox 61 Business Report, Starbucks announced that it's closing more stores and starting a second round of layoffs at its headquarters. The company's CEO said it will close about 1% of its locations this month, which is hundreds of stores. All in all, about 400 will have closed from the end of June to the end of September. The CEO also said 900 corporate jobs will be cut on top of 1,000 that were previously announced in February. The world's largest bike maker, a company called Giant, warned its U.S. customers that products could take longer to ship because federal agents blocked the company's imports from Taiwan. Why? Well, Customs and Border Protection agents said there's evidence that Giant was using forced labor and abusing workers. Giant denied those claims and said it will file a petition to revoke that order. The sandal maker Birkenstock has raised its sales outlook for the year despite having to raise prices because of inflation and a 15% tariff on European imports. The company said demand for its shoes and clogs remains strong. The Sherwin-Williams Paint Company has revealed its color of the year. It's universal khaki. The company said it's an easygoing neutral that brings timeless style to a home. And Sherwin-Williams said its experts selected it for its balance of livability and longevity. Cracker Barrel is trying to win customers back by going big on breakfast. Friday is National Pancake Day, and the chain is offering all-you-can-eat pancakes for $5 at all of its locations. It's also leaning into football all October by offering customers a free side of pancakes with the purchase of an entree, as long as you either wear your favorite team's jersey or bring in a same-day game ticket. Well, the Travelers Championships at this year's tournament raised more than $4 million for its charities. That's a new record. The money raised will be given to 245 charities like Fidelco Guide Dog Foundation, Literacy Volunteers of Greater Hartford, and the Luke Rue Foundation. Travelers has sponsored the tournament since 2007, and in that time, it's collectively raised more than $35 million for more than 1,000 nonprofits across the region. The event has also increased economic activity for the Greater Hartford area by $70 million. Well, Emmy Award-winning actor and New York Times bestselling author Nick Offerman is going to be in Connecticut next month for a special event. It's called An Evening with Nick Offerman. It's going to be October 17th at 7 o'clock at College Street Music Hall in New Haven. The event will include woodworking, stories, humor, and fun. It's all part of Offerman's Little Woodchuck's book tour, his new illustrated woodworking guide. Tickets are on sale now. We put the ticket link on our website at fox61.com if you're interested. All right, get your butter and your bibs ready. Today is National Lobster Day. Now, lobster comes in a range of colors like blue, green, yellow, even orange, but of course it turns bright red once it's cooked. Some American lobsters can live up to 100 years. Maine, unsurprisingly, leads the way in lobster production with more than 100 million pounds of lobster harvested yearly. About that, did you know there was a time when lobsters were really considered to be poor man's food because it was so abundant in colonial America? In fact, it wasn't until the Civil War when people would can cooked lobster to then give to soldiers that lobster became much more accessible to people who weren't close to the shore. Eventually, lobster lost its stigma, and of course, these days it's now considered to be more of a delicacy.
I'm Celine Arif, and I'm joined here by my new friend, the Banshee, and we are going to show you just how spooky they are making this season of Fright Fest in Agawam.
A new report found evacuation warnings for the LA wildfires were delayed because of a lack of resources and because of outdated policies for sending emergency alerts. Los Angeles County supervisors commissioned a consulting firm to investigate how the county responded. The report found there were critical staffing shortages and challenges during evacuations. It found it took between 20 to 30 minutes to alert the public, which the report found wasn't good enough, but still found was an improvement over the old system where the times were almost twice as long. The report also praised the heroism of the first responders. The Eaton and Palisades fires collectively killed more than 30 people and destroyed thousands of homes back in January, and we still don't know how those two fires started. The Food and Drug Administration will conduct a review of the abortion drug mifepristone. The FDA is set to look at evidence regarding its safety and efficacy and investigate how it can be safely distributed. The Trump administration has characterized the move as an effort to protect women's health. Abortion rights advocates disagree, though. They say the review could lead to major restrictions to access. According to the Guttmacher Institute, medication abortion is used in nearly 2/3 of abortions. Governor Ned Lamont has signed an agreement with the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission. It's going to give Connecticut oversight of radioactive materials that are being used in the state. The agreement was signed today. It now allows the state's Department of Energy and Environmental Protection to oversee radioactive materials that are used in more than 100 businesses in the research, manufacturing, even the healthcare fields. In a statement, the governor said the move will improve efficiency, protect health and safety, and help save taxpayer money.
It is the homegrown invention called the LECTech, and we are joining the LECTech set. They're showcasing this invention at South Windsor High. I'm Jim Altman. More ahead on Fox 61.
Also, the Durham Fair is just getting started. Coming up, we're going to hear from the fair's president on how things are going. That's right after the break.
You're watching Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
Thanks for staying with us here at 5:30 on a rainy day. I'm Tim Lammers. Hope you're having a good day, staying dry out there. I know there's fairs. We're going to hopefully take you to the Durham Fair in a little bit. Personally, I was at the Biggie with my family last night, and as we get over to meteorologist Sam Samperi, I feel like I got lucky on a very rainy day. It was raining right before I got there. Got there around 5:30 to 8:30. Didn't have a drop fall on me, and then made it home, and it started raining again.
Started pouring last night. Right. Yeah. And it's been on and off pouring most of the day, and now we have a bit of a lull in the action for the most part. Still a couple of scattered light sprinkles, but out in western Connecticut, be careful here as we get through to the New Milford area. There might be a little heavy shower rolling on in. Meanwhile, put it into motion. So you could see that the first batch of moderate to heavy rain, actually there were a couple of them today, is out of the way now, just watching for a couple of scattered showers. It's right here. This system right here is going to be moving in our direction during the next couple of hours. Some lightning strikes on the southern flank of it. We'll watch that. We could get a couple of claps of thunder. And so a couple of scattered showers early. And then we're going to watch this batch of moderate to heavy showers rolling on in. Temperatures right now are in the 70s. Look at the dew points. And it's cloudy and it's damp. It is very, very steamy, humid. And so overnight, partly cloudy. We get the showers out of the way by 10. And for tomorrow, nice day, summery, highs near 80. Coming up, yes, I'll detail the weekend forecast, talk about the fairs. You know, are we going to have any more rain over the weekend? Details coming up in a few minutes. Tim?
East Hartford police said they made an arrest in the killing of a woman that happened 53 years ago. Officers arrested 77-year-old George Laguerre in prison yesterday. He's now charged with murdering 21-year-old Janet Couture. She was found stabbed to death in her home on Cannon Road back on October 13th, 1973. Police said she was home alone when Laguerre broke in through the window. Laguerre is currently serving a 25-year sentence for kidnapping a woman in Avon in 1984. That was also a cold case for a time. Police said they had a major breakthrough in 2021 when they arrested him for the kidnapping. Now, he's been a suspect in Couture's death before, but investigators said they just didn't have enough evidence at the time to charge him. Enfield police said that they believe this dog here was hurt and then possibly abandoned. Officials said she's a pit bull, about 3 to 4 years old. We're not sure when she was found, but they said she had several puncture wounds to her face and head. So she was taken to a vet to be treated and has since been released. If you recognize the dog and may know who owns her, please contact Enfield Animal Control. A Colombian woman will spend the next 2 years of her life behind bars. She was sentenced today for being part of a nationwide jewelry theft ring. Yesenia Melendez was convicted of targeting stores in malls across the U.S., including Connecticut, from May of 2023 all the way through April of last year. It's reported that she helped identify which stores to hit, was the lookout during the thefts, and then helped to sell some of the stolen items. I say some because officials say the ring stole from the Connecticut Post Mall in Milford back in October of 2023. And then there was a photo of Melendez wearing a stolen ring from Connecticut that was found on her iCloud account. The burglars collectively took more than $1.3 million in jewelry during that time, and so far none of it has been recovered. Well, Connecticut Attorney General William Tong said Connecticut and 20 other states won a court order that blocked the Trump administration from requiring states to enforce federal immigration laws if they wanted to get FEMA funds for disaster recovery. A federal court found the immigration-related funding conditions were overly broad and had no legal or factual basis. It emphasized that disaster relief funding is meant to support public safety and emergency response, not immigration policy. The decision protects more than $1.2 billion in emergency funds that Connecticut has gotten since 2021. And speaking of FEMA, it gave the Westport Fire Department recently a $94,000 grant. That money will go towards the department's swift water rescue technician training. The training will help firefighters to respond effectively for water-related emergencies like flooding and other coastal incidents. The department got the grant through FEMA's Assistance to Firefighters Grant Program. Well, new at 5:30, an Emmy award-winning director is bringing a little Hollywood to where it all began for him, his hometown of Hartford. He's turning the capital city into a film set. Fox 61's Raven Blue has the details.
It's lights, camera, action as production for a film is soon to begin in Hartford for a haunting coming-of-age story. And the director behind the film isn't just an Emmy winner, he's also a professor at Wesleyan University, bringing his passion for filmmaking full circle.
I'm excited for folks to see areas in Hartford that they recognize and they love represented.
Emmy Award-winning filmmaker and Wesleyan University professor Pedro Bermudez is bringing a bold, emotional news story to life, and he's doing it right here in his hometown.
It's the story of an 18-year-old young woman named Maria, and she's a Dominican-American teenager who's coming of age into her own womanhood, and of course she's finding some challenges with that process.
Bermudez is turning best-selling author Carmen Maria Machado's book, Marry When You Follow Her, into a short film that will be shot in Hartford.
When it came time to thinking through the logistics of the film, Hartford was a natural fit. It also had a series of locations that were perfect for the film.
For Bermudez, being able to bring the community where he grew up into the movie was a no-brainer.
I love the city in which I was raised, in which I continue to live. And I've always been looking for opportunities to tell stories that were relatable to my community, where people could see themselves represented on the big screen.
Not only did he want to film the movie in Connecticut, he also wanted to cast local talent, holding a casting call at Parkville Market to fill several roles.
It's a big movie. It's an ambitious short film. So we had over 20 roles that were available for community members. We have principal actors coming from New York, but everybody else is a local person. So we saw people from Hartford, from Bridgeport, Manchester, all over the place. And for me, it's particularly exciting because I wanted my community to be represented in the project.
The film is helping to build on the local economy with jobs for people on screen and behind the camera. Bermudez hopes this project will lead to even more growth for the film industry in Connecticut.
I would love to eventually turn this into like an episodic television series, and I would be so grateful and so excited to be able to film that series in Connecticut, either in Hartford or Bridgeport. I just feel like that opportunity exists with this film.
Filming will begin in October, and a portion will be shot in Bridgeport. For more information on the film, head to this story on fox61.com for a link. Reporting at Wesleyan University in Middletown, Raven Blue, Fox 61.
Raven, thank you. All right, let's have some fun. People in Connecticut are flocking to the fairgrounds for the 105th annual Durham Fair, and our Sarah Sanchez is there right now. She has more on the fun-filled weekend ahead. Hey, Sarah.
And you know, the weather is pretty darn nice considering that rain was in the forecast for all day today. I am joined by the president of the Durham Fair. This is Kim. Kim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. This is great. We love that you're here.
And I said, okay, so this is the opening day. You said, yeah. What time did gates open?
The gates opened at 4.
And it's already got a really good crowd behind us because what's happening tonight?
Oh, Demolition Derby, 7 o'clock.
Yeah, 7 o'clock. So that's why we have a lot of kids here, a lot of families. And what else is there tonight? What else can people enjoy?
Well, all the exhibit buildings are open, so they can go into any of the exhibit buildings when it's not too crowded, walk through and see the giant pumpkins, see who won, the best state apple pie. The Midway is open, so they can come in and ride any of the rides. All the livestock buildings are full, so check out the animals. And it's a good night to come. It's not super crowded, but definitely by tomorrow the crowds will be coming.
And I also saw, too, that Thursday has a lower admission fee, too.
Yeah, so you can get in a little bit cheaper on Thursday. It's $10 to come in, and we're open until 9.
And it's like such a great family event as well because you have such good food and like the kids can check out all the animals. What keeps you coming back every year?
Well, I've been volunteering with the fair for over 20 years, and it's really the community. It's just seeing everyone come together. It's like a big family reunion. You see people that sometimes you only see once a year, and you get to kind of catch up and see how things are going. And really, it's looking around and seeing all the happy faces from our communities.
And we were talking before we came on air about how tomorrow's going to be a big day because all the kids have school off, which I absolutely love how the towns do this.
That's right. So why would they have school when everybody will be here? So they've given the kids the day off for many years. It's tradition. And really, it's the time when all the kids get to hang out together, who gets to walk around without their parents. It's a little bit of a rite of passage. And it's fun because all the rides are open and all the food booths. So it's definitely a fun place to be.
Yeah, it's a fun Friday for the whole family. Thank you so much. And we'll be here for a little while longer. So So if you do have some time, the fair is open till 10, correct? 10 tonight. So you have plenty of time, and the weather's really not that bad. You know, it beats being really, really hot out here. It is very comfortable. So we are here in Durham. We hope that you come down. Reporting live in Durham, Sarah Sanchez, back to you.
Well, here's another fall treat, right? If you're in the market for a good scare, Fright Fest is the place to be right now. Up at Six Flags New England, they just kicked off their opening weekend of the season, and Fox 61's Celine Arif is up there in Agawam to show us how it's done.
We are pulling back the curtain to show you what it takes to pull off all these screams, scares, and nightmares here at Fright Fest. And it all starts with these very talented characters I am joined by here. Jump scare haters beware. When you come to Fright Fest, they make sure you get your money's worth.
If I scare you so bad that you get angry and you paid to be here, that to me, that just warms my heart.
Elizabeth Kavanaugh and her fellow scary coworkers have a pretty fun job. While they're striking fear into guests, they're having the time of their lives.
Channeling all of those inner frustrations that you're kind of taught to hide in real life. And then when you're here as a scare actor, you really get to channel all of that into screaming and running around.
They try to have a little something for everyone here. Regional Manager of Public Relations Sydney Snow says all fright levels are welcome at Fright Fest with their kids zone and more adult areas.
So right now we're standing in one of our haunted mazes called the Midnight Mansion. This is one of 5 haunted mazes that are scattered all throughout the park.
On top of that,
we also have 7 scare zones, and those scare zones are scattered throughout the park. So as long as you're in the park after 6 o'clock, we have our Awakening, which is our show that really unleashes all the monsters in the park.
Whether it's unleashing monsters or unlocking your childhood fears that never really went away as an adult, these guys are ready to give you a great show and maybe a few nightmares no matter what it takes.
So before you can become any sort of monster, we have to go to the makeup room, which we usually clock in a few hours before we even have to start scaring.
Now, if you want to be scared out of your absolute mind like I was, you can check out Fright Fest until November 9th. They're open on Saturdays and Sundays and on Fridays in October starting on October 10th. Reporting in Agawam, Celine Arif, Fox 61.
Celine, thank you. Question, what's a LECTEC? It's an invention created right here and made right here in Connecticut. So what does it do? So Jimmy Allen, there's a little hint. Stay with us to find out more.
Now, Fox 61 Weather Impact with meteorologist Sam Sampiri.
It's hard to believe that 40 years ago we were getting ready for Hurricane Gloria. More on that tomorrow. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Humberto, maximum sustained winds 60 miles an hour. No, it's not going to take that kind of a track coming at us at all. Instead, this system is going to take a turn, right? It's going to head towards the East Coast, but then move around Bermuda. Right now it looks to go to the west, but not come at us. As the system does intensify into a Category 1 and 2 hurricane. The next system is following, and that would be Imelda, and that storm may be developing pretty soon. Here's the tropical tracks of the second one, and it's more on this one right here. For some reason it just skipped out, but at any rate, I'm going to show you something here with the future radar with the system. This is the European model. And what's going to happen is, not this one, this is not the hurricane, but Imelda, we're going to watch this try to come up, and then it's going to go out to sea. Here's Hartford. So it's something we're going to be watching through next week. Here's that 80% chance of that Imelda trying to come towards the East Coast. So that's something we'll be watching next week, as I said. So live Doppler, back to what's been going on here. We've had 1 to 2+ inches of rainfall since midnight. Last night, and there's a cell now moving back into western Connecticut. We've had a lull in the action for the last couple of hours, but it's this system right here. Check this out. A couple of lightning strikes. This will be here sometime around 6:30, 7 o'clock, the main line towards 7 o'clock. And once that goes on by, we are going to start to dry out. Again, those couple of showers in western Connecticut. A bigger picture shows we'll be clearing out in time for Friday into Saturday. There's the frontal system that gave us the heavy rain last night and today. Timing it all out, you see 7, 8 o'clock. That band of moderate to heavy rain moves through. Could hear some thunder, see some lightning, maybe a gusty wind, and that's about it. And then it clears out in time for your Friday afternoon. So how much rain, additional rainfall? Well, you could see where that system tracks right across central Connecticut. But that could be variable during the next couple of hours with this kind of system. And then for your Friday, a mix of sun and clouds. Summery, 75 to 80 as we enter the last weekend of September. And then tomorrow night, clear, back into the 50s and near 60. And then on Saturday, mixed sun and clouds back up, 75 to 80. Fox 61 7-day forecast. A little bit has changed since yesterday. Some guidance is showing maybe a little bit of rain Saturday night into early Sunday. But other than that, and a lot of it that could be shunted to the south, or coastal Connecticut may get grazed with a few showers. Otherwise, we clear out, and we're still warm in the next week. But by the middle and end of next week, we'll have temperatures back into the fall 60s. Tim?
Hi, Sam, thank you. Well, you could call it a show and tell at South Windsor High School today, and the more balanced, the better. A recent grad showcased his latest invention. It's a do-it-yourself electric skateboard. It's known as the LECTEC, and it's getting a lot of looks. Here's Fox 61's Jim Altman.
Well, the school day just got a jolt in South Windsor, and all of a sudden, the lesson plan has really sped up. 7 years after graduating,
the current goes through the controller right here.
Luke St. Amand has returned to South Windsor High.
I mean, it's fully designed by me and my best friend.
Luke, a trained engineer, has gone to the head of the class because his invention, the LECTEC, rolls large. What's a LECTEC?
LECTEC is our buildable electric skateboards and scooters. We teach you the engineering behind it all while you build it. So how's the battery work, the drivetrain, the gears, and obviously to take it outside and go ride.
But before any ollies, nollies, or nose grinds,
and it goes through to our brushless DC motor.
Students here are learning about putting the pieces together, which includes the board to, well, the boardroom. Because apparently a do-it-yourself electric skateboard can take you places.
So we were on season 16, episode 11 this year onto Shark Tank. So we actually got 2 offers, one from Mr. Wonderful and one from Robert Herjavec. We went with Robert's deal, which was $100,000 for 15% of the company.
The kits are now in over 150 schools across the country. The idea is to inspire both engineering and entrepreneurship. And and going hands-on helps.
As someone going into physics, I love numbers on paper, but I also love seeing things move. Tactile is the best.
I don't know if I was gonna fall or not, but it was really like simple, and like once I was on it, I was like, it was simple, like I can do this.
Low profile and higher visibility. Will their out-of-the-box idea land them in the big boxes? There is that hope.
Getting on to Shark Tank and doing all this stuff and starting a company is great, but actually having an impact, that's why we do this.
And if you're keeping score at home, Electech will reach a top speed of about 8 miles per hour. For tech-savvy kids, they can put this together in about 2 hours. It's been a long time. In South Windsor, Jim Altman, Fox 61.
8 miles an hour is about 7 too fast for him. All right, thank you, Jimmy. Coming up, Merriam-Webster's president said they're in beast mode for their new dictionary. Don't give them the side eye or a hard pass either. If what I'm saying makes no sense, just trust me, it will in a few minutes. Also coming up, a new voice is expected to take over in subways, and you might recognize it from music. We'll tell you who it is next.
Good. 321-123-456, 123-4.
All right, Riz, Dad Bod, Beast Mode, Side Eye. Those are just some of the more than 5,000 new words that have been added to Merriam-Webster's Collegiate Dictionary. The 12th edition of the book is available for pre-order right now. The last time it published a hard copy was back when George W. Bush was president. Merriam-Webster's president said although the website gets more than 1 billion visits annually, the hardcover books still sell well. Other words and phrases like doom scroll, farm to table, and adulting will be in the newest dictionary as well. Well, the next time you ride the subway in New York City, there's a possibility you may hear a familiar voice over the intercom. New York native and rapper Cardi B has recorded rider etiquette and safety PSAs. That's according to the agency that runs the New York City subway system. And they shared a video of her urging passengers to follow the rules, telling them to, quote, ride safe, keep it cute, and keep it moving. No word yet when the new messages will start playing across the system. An Alabama man recently became a record holder for having the longest natural beard locks on a living person. Meet Rudolph Martino. The Guinness Book of World Records recognized him last month because his beard measures at just over 3.5 feet. He's been growing it out for more than 10 years. He says it's become part of a spiritual commitment. You can imagine caring for it also takes dedication. He says it takes between 30 minutes to an hour to wash it and then a couple of days for it to dry. He also moisturizes it every day. Martino also said he'll usually tuck the beard in his shirt to keep it from getting caught in things like doors. Very practical. We got another full hour of local news for you here at 6. Let's welcome in Brent Harden.
Practical was the word. I was just thinking that guy is so practical, Tim. We got a lot more coming up next at 6. It's opening night at the Durham Fair, and our team is live on the ground with an inside look at the days ahead. Monsters, mazes, and more. Fright Fest promises plenty of scares, but for the actors behind the masks, it's more than a job. It's pure fun, and we'll show you why. And one call, one smile, one act of kindness at American Eagle Financial. The little things make the biggest difference. We'll show you how they lift up families across Connecticut and beyond next at 6. Stay with us. Now at 6, we are at the Durham Fair with its traditional agricultural exhibits, carnival rides, and entertainment. Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez will join us live from the fair, so stay with us.
New technology used to keep your kids safe on the school bus. I'm Nick Bradshaw in Shelton. I'll have that story coming up.
A new app allows for a self-guided tour of Hartford's art culture, allowing people to experience and learn about each individual piece in the city. I'm Jamel Johnson. I'll show you how you can get started on this multimedia art tour next.
Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, take a look at this video. Drivers blowing right through stop signs on school buses. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden. In Shelton alone, more than 600 violations have been caught in just 2 weeks, and now a new program using high-definition cameras and artificial intelligence is hoping to hold drivers more accountable. Fox 61's Nick Bradshaw shows us how it works.
Most of us already know that when you see the school bus sign out and the red lights flashing, that means to stop. However, not everyone does so. There's some new technology here in Shelton that's helping to catch those violators. Check this out. Drivers blowing past flashing lights and stop arms on school buses. And it's putting kids in danger. Shelton officials say the violations have been piling up recently.
In the city of Shelton alone, over the past 30 days when our warning period was running, we had over 600 possible violations captured off the bus. Of those, just over 550 were actually deemed to be worthy of a violation, according to the police.
Adam Schaefer with Bus Patrol spent years in school transportation. He says what's happening isn't unusual. But for a long time, bus drivers were expected to jot down plates while trying to keep children safe.
Almost impossible. You're managing an entire bus full of children. You're paying attention to what's on the road. You need to be focused on making sure that child is safe. You may need to let them know when it's safe to go. Looking at and writing down somebody's license plate made it that anybody who did this illegal passing were basically getting away with it with no consequence.
That meant drivers like this one who waves after blowing through a stop were rarely held accountable. Well, that was until now. For the last month, Shelton's program has issued warnings, but soon those warnings will become fines of at least $250. So here's how it works. They're using AI-powered cameras. If you go through the stop, it'll scan your license plate, transmit that data with Wi-Fi antennas. And within days, police will review the violation. If it's confirmed, you'll receive a ticket in the mail from the Shelton Police Department.
That same video is then sent to the police. They determine has a violation actually occurred based on Connecticut law and the local ordinance in the city.
And the revenue from the fines will go right back into the program.
Unacceptable, in an information-connected society, to continue to let this problem persist.
They've been testing out the technology for the last several weeks with no tickets issued. However, coming up on Monday, the 29th, if they catch you, it could be a $250 fine. We're in Shelton. Nick Bradshaw, Fox 61.
Hartford police say they've arrested the man accused of hitting and killing a bicyclist back in April. Investigators say 42-year-old Nicholas Thompson was hit on Main Street and died at the hospital. Police say the driver took off after crashing into a parked car. And this week, detectives arrested 18-year-old Michael Grady. He is charged with reckless driving, evading responsibility involving death, and driving without a license. Grady's being held on a $50,000 bond. Well, Davis Street School in New Haven went on lockdown today after a student made concerning statements. Police say all students and staff were safe the entire time. The lockdown was only a precaution and kept disruptions to a minimum. Within the hour, police lifted the lockdown and classes are now back to normal. And a 4-year-old girl fell from a second-story window this morning in Hartford. It happened just before 9:40 on Magnolia Street, and police say it was an accident. The child had no visible injuries, but was taken to Connecticut Children's for evaluation. No word yet on her condition tonight. Well, it is opening night, and people in Connecticut are flocking to the fairgrounds for the 105th annual Durham Fair. Fox 61's Sarah Sanchez is there right now with a full look at what the fair has to offer this year. Sarah, it's not exactly perfect fair weather. How are things going out there?
Honestly, Brent, it's really nice just because it's not raining right now. Fair organizers told me that it did rain earlier this afternoon, but just as soon as those gates opened, the rain cleared, and it's really nice. It's light jacket weather out here. A lot of people in t-shirts. It's a perfect night, if you ask me, for some entertainment at the fair. Right now, I'm in the beer, cider, and wine tasting tent here at the fair. So this is adults only over here, but there's plenty of entertainment, especially if you like to dance, if you enjoy live music. There's plenty to do out here for the adults, not just the kids. And today, admission's a little cheaper because it is the opening day. It is a Thursday, but still plenty to do. As I mentioned too, earlier in the 5 o'clock newscast, there's a lot of live entertainment coming up this weekend. So coming up later in this hour, we're going to talk about some of that live entertainment and how it's included in your fair ticket. So you don't even have to buy an extra concert ticket on top of fair admission to see some really awesome fair entertainment. As soon as those gates open at 4 o'clock, though, I'm told that people just started coming in. They're all excited. This is a really awesome fair, 100% volunteer organized. And behind me, we have some really awesome entertainers that are coming up. They were just line dancing behind me. He's going to be playing some German music. Lots of really fun stuff for everyone if you enjoy getting out there and dancing and sampling some of the beer, wine, cider from Connecticut businesses. That's a big thing too. So I will see you later on coming up this hour, Brent. I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Sarah, stay out of that tent. You got to come back to work later. Enfield police need help finding the owner of an injured pit bull. Officers say someone may have abandoned the dog after she suffered several wounds to her head and her face. A vet treated her. She's now recovering. The pup is about 3 to 4 years old, they say. If you recognize her, call Enfield Animal Control. If the owner is never found, the dog will soon be up for adoption. Well, fire crews put out 2 separate fires in New Haven just minutes apart. The first at 90 Park Street, where fire spread from a 9th floor balcony into an apartment. Firefighters had it under control in about 20 minutes. And then at 57 Thompson Street, fire broke out on the 3rd floor of a multifamily home, and that fire was out in about 30 minutes. No one was hurt in either fire. Investigators are still working to figure out what caused them. And a Colombian woman will spend 2 years in federal prison for her role in a nationwide jewelry theft ring. Prosecutors say 41-year-old Yesenia Rincon helped target mall jewelry stores across several states, including Connecticut. The group stole more than $1 million in jewelry during those burglaries, and investigators say total losses from the conspiracy top $4 million. Rincon was arrested last summer and pleaded guilty in July. She now faces deportation once she finishes her jail sentence. If you're a fan of riding e-bikes around town, there are some new rules coming soon that you need to know about, the first of which defines what is and isn't an e-bike. Now, starting October 1st, the rule is that in order to be considered an e-bike, its motor has to be fewer than 750 watts. Its top speed can't be more than 28 miles an hour or 20 if it's got a throttle. There are some other qualifications as well. If your bike doesn't meet those qualifications, then it's going to be classified as either a motorcycle if it's over 3,700 watts, in which case you'll need a license and registration and insurance. If it's under 3,700 watts, then it's called a motor-driven cycle, and you'll only need a license.
For children especially, who might not have both the fine motor skills and cognitive abilities that they're still developing, that speed difference, which comes from the wattage, can make a huge difference.
Now back to e-bikes. Starting October 1st, all e-bike riders will have to wear a helmet regardless of age. Officials say they've seen a 350% increase in bike-related accidents.
Folks are not here to put undue regulation on something that isn't important. This is important to keep the residents of Connecticut and the patients that we treat safe.
Now, if you modify an e-bike to change its speed, you will also need to label the e-bike showing those modifications. Again, the new laws go into effect October 1st. Well, food service workers at Southern Connecticut State University voted to authorize a strike. 98% said yes to it. Workers say Sodexo, their employer, refuses to agree to a fair contract. They want wages that keep up with the cost of living. 280 workers across Southern, Central, and Western have been in talks since March. Union leaders say they don't want to strike, but are ready if it comes to that. Workers at Central will vote next week. All right, if you are living in Hartford or just visiting, there's a good chance you'll come across sculptures and murals and other artistry that make up the public art scene downtown. Hartford's art culture has inspired a local nonprofit to create a way to learn about the history of every individual piece right from your phone. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson shows us what the new app is all about.
Have you ever come across a mural on the side of a building or noticed a sculpture downtown and wondered who created it and why? Well, now you can find all of that information on your phone with the new Hartford Art Tour app.
Hartford has a long history of art of all kinds, whether it's literature, monuments that tell the story of our history, to the newest outburst cropping of murals. It really is rooted in who we are, how we tell the story of the city.
Art is a major part of the framework of Hartford. Tanisha Dugan with the Hartford Office of Arts and Culture says there has been several attempts to bring the history of Hartford art to the forefront.
Not a lot of people understand how long the history of art is. We've got people like Alden Gordon and Public Art, CT.org, and the Greater Hartford Arts Council, who have been doing amazing work to try and tell folks what's happening. But if you're new to the city, you may not know to go to these places that have been doing such long work.
In partnership with the Hartford Foundation for Public Giving, they look to create an easily accessible way for people to learn about the city's art while just passing through. That's when the idea of a mobile app that allows for a self-guided tour of diverse art culture came to be.
What we think will be a tourist attraction, a way to sort of bring more people into the city to experience our art in a new way.
The app allows you to find art in the city, and while you're looking at it in person, you can listen to sound, artist statements, and music related to the piece. And the app rewards those who find harder to spot attractions too.
We've started this point system. I think it's, how easy is it to get to something? Do you have to be a little curious and imaginative to go find something? Scavenger hunt, a way to sort of collect some tokens around the city.
It's a unique way to connect people with the city, and Duggan hopes it also brings us together in ways only art can.
For us, it's about bringing together all the disciplines of art and asking people to come and enjoy it in person. We've had a lot of time over screens with each other, but the best way to grow and to know each other is together.
Dugan says this is only the beginning for the app, and they're already looking at ways to collaborate with local businesses that are near some of these featured artworks. If you're looking to get started on your very own multimedia art tour, we'll have information on how you can do that on fox61.com. In Hartford, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.